What should I do if my girlfriend, who's normally, no, at all times, extremely cold toward me and often treats me violently, suddenly becomes very gentle, cute, outwardly and inwardly lovely, and unusually clingy? Waiting online, kind of urgent. Don't laugh at me. I'm a simp, and a very famous one at that. Not for anything else. My goddess Sophia is just too beautiful. I've liked her since high school. Even if she had childhood friends, a first love, ambiguous relationships, a senior she liked, or juniors chasing her, I never gave up pursuing her or missed any chance to please her. Maybe heaven was moved by my sincerity, or maybe hard work pays off. In any case, opportunities favor the prepared. As a total simp, not even a backup, I nevertheless got the goddesses first. It was during a heavy snowfall. She was walking alone in the park, dressed too lightly. I took off my coat and draped it over her. When she turned and saw it was me, her pretty face immediately grew cold as ice. She then lifted her shoulders slightly and shrugged my coat onto the floor. Don't follow me anymore. I don't like you. I picked up the coat, gently brushed the snow off it, and said softly, I know. She took 2 steps back. If you know, then why do you keep doing this? Do you know how many classmates laugh at you? I didn't say anything, just gave a small affirmative sound. She spun around in anger and left. After walking only a few steps, she turned back and pointed at me. Remember, don't follow me anymore. With that, she strode away, and I, pretending not to hear, followed her. Sophia stood by the park's lake. Although it was snowing, it wasn't too cold, so the lake's surface hadn't frozen over. She was truly beautiful. I was stunned. Then she suddenly climbed up the railing. Before my brain could react, my body felt electrified, adrenaline surged, and I flew forward, wrapping my arms around her waist and lifting her down from the railing. Get away, what are you doing? She scratched and clawed at me, but I still held her tightly and wouldn't let go. The goddess's waist was so slim, I was slow to realize it. The simp had finally gotten a taste of fine food. Suddenly, 2 big hands clamped down on my shoulders, one on the left and one on the right. Behave yourself. I've long suspected you weren't. It turned out to be 2 police officers. They separated Sophia and me. Then they pinned me to the ground, preparing to pull out handcuffs. Splash. Sophia jumped down, my adrenaline spiked again, and in a rush of heat to the head, I followed. I was holding the goddess in my arms, but I don't know how to swim. Sophia struggled violently in my arms, and I could only hold her tightly. Gradually, due to severe lack of oxygen, my body instinctively opened my mouth, and I swallowed a large mouthful of water, instantly losing consciousness. When I woke up again, it was a white ceiling, half of the 4 bottles gone, and 2 familiar faces. Officer, is Sophia okay? The 2 police officers, now out of uniform, shuffled to the side with exasperated looks, revealing Sophia in the adjacent hospital bed. Sophia had woken earlier than I had. She stared blankly at the ceiling, saying nothing. Her mother came in. She didn't cry, didn't make a scene, and didn't thank me or the police officers who saved my dog's life. Slap! A sharp, crisp slap rang out in the ward. The police hurriedly stepped in front of Sophia's mother and sternly stopped her. Parent, what do you think you're doing? Exactly. Hitting people is wrong. And besides, the child has just been taken out of danger. Can't you resolve this calmly? Sophia's mother sneered arrogantly. I'm disciplining my daughter. What business is it of yours? Saying that, she raised her hand and pointed at Sophia. If you want to die, go find someplace where nobody is and die far away. Who are you putting on such a show for? The 2 policemen, seeing her speech growing more and more harsh, had a nurse take her out. They came back and comforted her a few words, then praised me a little. Being praised for the first time in my life, I felt oddly embarrassed. When they learned we were classmates, they told me, as someone who had also clawed back from the brink of death, to take good care of her. I patted my chest, wore a serious expression, and adopted a proper stance. I won't shirk my duty. I made the 2 policemen laugh, but Sophia lay there without smiling. Not even a single tear fell. She was strong in a way that didn't seem like a girl. The nurse told the 2 of us to pay. By rights, this was an act of courage. So Sophia's guardian should have been responsible for my medical bills. But not only did I pay my own medical expenses, I also paid hers. Aside from slapping her and saying some nasty things, Sophia's mother left nothing behind. "Ethan, I will pay you back." She didn't blame me for meddling to rescue her, nor did she say I was being sentimental, insisting on paying her bill. She just said that out of the blue. I waved my hand. "Don't worry about it. It's only a small amount." It really was a small amount. Although my parents weren't big bosses, they were comfortably off and never stingy with my pocket money. Maybe to make up for me being a left-behind child. My parents went off to try their luck in the big city when I was little, and I lived alone with my elderly grandmother. Later, after my grandmother died when I was in the 3rd year of middle school, I was left alone in the family. I don't blame my parents for not taking me with them. It was really because the household registration couldn't be transferred. For the sake of my studies, I had to stay here. How tragic it was. So when my parents learned I was all right, they only told me not to do such dangerous things again, and they gave me some money so I could recuperate properly. Besides feeding and taking care of myself, I also have to take care of Sophia's meals and drinks. This is the happiest time of my life. Living in the same room as the goddess, I could wake up laughing from my dreams. Sophia ate her wontons and asked me, "Aren't you curious why I jumped into the river?" It wasn't true that I wasn't curious, but I didn't dare ask, fearing she'd recall something painful. "Not curious. You must have suffered some huge grievance. Otherwise, a girl as strong as you wouldn't have lost hope." She paused with the spoon in her hand and stared straight at me. I felt like I had a high fever, my face burning hot. "What's wrong?" Sophia resumed, eating the wontons. "Nothing." After we finished eating, I started clearing the table, and she suddenly asked, "Do you really like me?" I was stunned, doubting my ears, and turned to her for confirmation. "What did you say?" She turned her head to the side. "Nothing." I got anxious. "Don't say it's nothing. Who in the whole school doesn't know there's a dog tied under the girls' dorm window? 2005. She snorted and burst out laughing. It was the first time I'd seen her smile. I looked serious. "What are you laughing at?" "I'm telling the truth." She laughed even harder, cackling like she'd swallowed a duck hole. Happy times are always short. Before I knew it, it was time to be discharged, and I kept looking back reluctantly as I walked. Sophia patted my shoulder. "What are you staring at?" "I'm actually a little reluctant." She rolled her eyes at me. "You don't seem to be fully recovered." The goddess's home smelled nice. It would have been even better without her father's stern face. Even though it's hanging on the wall, it always gives me the feeling it might jump down and beat me at any moment. The old 2-bedroom, 2-living-room apartment was tidied up and fairly clean. Rumor had it that her family lived in a villa, that her parents were big-time businessmen, and that they came and went in luxury cars. Judging by this, the rumors couldn't be trusted. She told me to sit anywhere, then went to the kitchen to busy herself and asked what I liked to eat. "Whatever you make, I like it." I felt like I was dreaming. I was actually at the goddess's house and could personally eat a meal she had cooked. "Do you live alone?" She suddenly asked me that. I hummed. "My parents are both busy out of town." "What about at Christmas?" I replied casually, "I'll go see them at Christmas." Soon the meal was ready. Steamed rice, scrambled eggs with tomato sauce, and stir-fried shredded potatoes. "Eat more, don't be polite." Is this the treatment a simp like me should get? She's too good to me. I'm actually a bit unaccustomed to it. I still prefer when she acts indifferent toward me. The next day at school, she quickly returned to her usual aloof demeanor, making me think the things that happened a few days ago were hallucinations. I slipped back into simp mode, feeling miserable if I didn't fawn over her for a day. Just when I thought I'd never even be a backup, Sophia suddenly appeared at my doorstep holding luggage. I rubbed my eyes in disbelief. It wasn't a mirage. "Did you need something from me?" Sophia shoved her luggage into my house. "Didn't you say you were home alone?" "I can't pay you back in a short term, so I'll work off the debt as your maid." What kind of brazen talk is this? Oh my God, the goddess becoming my maid. This is the kind of plot only found on sketchy websites. I rubbed my hands together. What debt? Spending money on you is my pleasure. She kept a cold face. What? Not welcome. My goodness. Wronged. How could I not welcome you? I wouldn't even dare dream of such a thing. She stood in the living room. Which one is my room? Please, make yourself at home. Pick whichever you like. I'll clear a room for you right away. She pointed to my room. That one. ZZZZ. She was about to push the door open when I suddenly remembered something and shouted, "No, not that room." But it was too late. She had already opened the door. Are you a pervert? Why is the room full of my photos? Isn't it perverted if it's not yours? She looked at the poster-size photo. When did you take all of these? I scratched my head sheepishly. Recently. She pointed at a profile shot. You even took them secretly. Do you know that's illegal? Please spare me, sir. I won't dare do it again. She crossed her legs and sat in my computer chair. Start cleaning. I immediately got to work. This wasn't a babysitter coming. She was practically some revered ancestor. After I finally finished cleaning, my back aching all over, she suddenly gave me a list of rules. The first was that under no circumstances was anyone allowed to know she had come to my house. The second was that although she's my housekeeper, I couldn't ask her to do anything that would affect my studies. The third, the toilet seat in the bathroom must not be lifted, and the bathroom door must be locked when used. The fourth, when she's in the living room, she must wear at least 3 articles of clothing. She even wrote it down and stuck it on the door so that I could see her drafted rules for a shock boyfriend as soon as I opened the door. As long as I could see her every day, I might as well be Prime Ministerly reborn. And so, during the day, we went to school separately, one ahead of the other, and at night we took different modes of transport home. As my household's devoted servant, the nanny's daily essential task for me became buying groceries and tidying the house. At school, some busybodies asked me why I didn't go wait downstairs at the women's dormitory anymore. Someone who followed the goddess's movements like I did answered for me. Sophia has been skipping campus recently. She doesn't live on campus anymore. No wonder our dog goddess doesn't live on campus anymore either. What a pity we can no longer get free Xylong Bayo, soy milk, milk tea, hand-grab pancakes, and so the two of us lived together for half a year. By the minimum nanny salary, she should have repaid me by now, but she showed no intention of leaving, and I couldn't bring myself to drive her away. Until I put $1,000 in front of her, she looked at me puzzled. What does this mean? I hung my head, embarrassed, and said, housekeeping service fee. I know it might be a bit short, but don't worry, I'll definitely make it up to you later. Her expression was hard to read, angry or just displeased. And in any case, she slammed the door and didn't open it again until dinner. I was also afraid she'd go hungry. How about we go have hot pot tonight? No, it's a waste. I'll treat. You're finally off work for the holiday. She reluctantly agreed, and of all coincidences, it turned out to be a classmate's birthday. There was no avoiding it, so she had to go over and say hello. I thought it would cause a huge fuss, sensational breaking news, but no one cared. If it was Chinese class, they went to Chinese class. If it was PE, they went to math. I figured maybe it had happened so often that people thought it perfectly normal for me and the goddess to show up in the same place at the same time. Of course, it wasn't normal for her to appear in my house, especially since her bedroom held that portrait that looked ready to beat me up at any moment. I was puzzled. Why wouldn't she go back to her own place? If she was afraid of being lonely, she could stay in the dormitory. Why stay in my house? Could it be that she likes me? I soon dismissed that unrealistic idea. She's a goddess, universally acknowledged. I can only fantasize about being with a goddess. If there's a group similar to me, it would be the idol chasers, these days called OnlyFans, way fun. But the person I'm a fan of isn't that famous. If we upgrade the label further, it becomes a stalker fan. Right now, I'm hovering somewhere between a devoted fan and a stalker. I was prepping ingredients in the kitchen when I suddenly heard Sophia calling me from the bathroom. So I immediately put down what I was doing and rushed over. She was holding a bar of soap I had just bought. What kind of soap did you buy? Why doesn't it lather at all? I took the soap from her hand, tore off the wrapper, and held it in my own hand. Unexpectedly, she slapped my hand away. Why are you shouting? The silence at this moment was deafening. Until Christmas, I thought she had finally gone home, and I should go to my parents' place as well. She left a day before me. After putting the webcam my parents had sent in the living room, I left too. After spending a year with the goddess, I had gained a few more insights about her. My heart felt beautiful, so proud. The only regret was not knowing whom to share it with, and having no fan club or support group. Suddenly, my phone app notified me that there was movement detected. I opened the surveillance feed and saw the light was on. Curiously, I immediately checked the playback. Please tell me it wasn't a real thief coming in during the holiday. I selected the segment marked with a person and found Sophia coming home carrying a box of instant noodles and a large bag of frozen dumplings. I'm just a simp, not an idiot. I quickly realized she wasn't planning to come home. It seemed she was still mad at Mom. So I transferred her $2,000 and added Merry Christmas. She actually refused to accept it and sent it back, saying she didn't need it. Usually I'm the one who buys groceries and all kinds of daily necessities. I haven't seen her ever buy anything for herself. The only things she might have that are worth anything now are those suitcases, although I never once saw her open them. At my parents' place, their favorite thing to do every day was watch the surveillance footage. I watched her alone, with the TV on, eating instant noodles. On Christmas Eve, she cooked frozen dumplings. After eating, she curled up on the sofa to keep watching TV, and then I watched her fall asleep on the sofa. In early January, the surveillance suddenly went out, and I panicked. There's no outstanding bill for the home internet, and the electricity bill is fine. I called her. She answered. I asked where she was, and she said she was at home. I tried to video call her, but she declined. So, I, who always dawdle until the day before school starts to go back, bought a ticket early and returned home. My parents were busy with work and didn't ask many questions. They prepared a big pile of things for me and told me to take good care of myself. I opened the front door, eager to get home, and saw Sophia, whom I hadn't seen in a long time. Our eyes met. She panicked. Didn't you say you wouldn't be back for a long time? How did you come back so suddenly? I put my things down and answered casually, I was bored staying there, so I came back early. She didn't say much else. Only when I was about to give her the gift did she quickly tidy up the kitchen. There was no electricity at home, and only then did I discover the house fuse had blown. She had tried to fix it herself, which was too dangerous. I got a professional electrician to come and repair it, and only then did everything at home return to normal. I don't know how she managed to fumble through the dark these past few days. Knowing she hadn't been eating properly, I prepared a feast of meat dishes and a bottle of imported red wine. She said she was tired of heavy meals these days, but she didn't miss any of the food I prepared. The two of us had a bottle of wine. When that wasn't enough, we took out my dad's stash and drank that too. There are two dreams you must never have at night. One is finding a toilet and actually finding it. The other is dreaming that the person you like did the thing they like most. I had both of those dreams. The next morning I woke up, looked at the bright red blood, and knew what I had done. She didn't say anything, got up to wash the sheets and duvet cover, and told me to go to a pharmacy 2 blocks away to buy medicine. I nodded like a child who'd done something wrong. She wants my life now, and I won't argue. Wherever she says to die, I'll die. Wherever she says to be buried, I'll be buried. She used to be cold to me only at school. Now she's worse to me at home than she was at school. Don't you understand plain language? How many times have I told you not to lift the toilet lid? Why can't you remember? You really know how to enjoy yourself. What time is it? Hurry up and make dinner. I was sitting on the sofa playing with my phone when my mom called me. Missing you. Slap. The motion-activated light in the stairwell came on. Son, are you coming home for the holiday? Mom's prepared. My mouth was clamped shut by Sophia. Tears of grievance welled up in my eyes. I finally couldn't hold back and apologized to her, but she kept a cold expression and didn't say a word. How should I make it up to you? She retorted. Why do you need to make it up? I was momentarily speechless, even dazed. Was what happened that night real or not? But I'm certain it's real, because Sophia is my girlfriend now. Although she's not nice to me, she has acknowledged publicly that she's my girlfriend. It's just that we never did that kind of thing again, She still lives in my house, each of us with our own room. The school forum went wild. The campus beauty was actually won over by a simp. Truly a perversion of human nature, or the decline of morality. In any case, I became the center of attention. Wherever I went, people asked me for advice, asking how I did it. What can I say? There's no secret. It's just practice. The more I licked, the more the other person got used to it. Even though the campus belle admitted she was my girlfriend, I was still like a simp. Her attitude toward me was no different than before. I hadn't even held her hand in public because I didn't dare, and of course not in private either. So after a few days, the classmates all thought the school beauty had pretended to admit she was my girlfriend just to turn down other suitors. Once this rumor came out, everyone believed it. Even I believed it myself. If she hadn't lived next door to me and been with me every day, I would have felt like I was just being used as a shield. It stayed that way all the way until graduation. When we both started working, she finally moved out of my place. I didn't say anything to try to keep her. I just silently helped her pack, and she refused to let me go to her new place. I chased the taxi crying for a while, but I didn't shout the words, "How will I live without you?" I opened the door and looked at the empty apartment, feeling as if something important had been lost. From then on, I couldn't get interested in anything, yet she didn't seem to have told me she was breaking up. So that means I'm still her official boyfriend, and my fighting spirit flared up again. If I'm going to be a simp, I'll be a simp to the end. I got a job at her company and saw the person I least wanted to see, her childhood friend, James. I wonder if Sophia came to this company because James came. James really treated his childhood friend well, chauffeured her around, and got her a very easy job that still paid quite well. Sophia also seemed very happy in front of him, a happiness that came from the heart. James is the boss's son. Everyone could see how thoughtful he was towards Sophia, so he doted on her in every way. In contrast, as the ex-boyfriend who hadn't broken up, I was basically invisible at the company. Even when I acted like a bootlicker, others laughed at me for overestimating myself. The rich end up together. The poor watch it happen with their own eyes. Later, Sophia had a best friend she could tell anything to, Emily, who also worked at our company, just in a different department. The two were practically conjoined twins. They were the same clothes, used the same cosmetics, even wore the same jewelry, and often shopped together, took photos, watched movies, traveled, and posted on social media. Later, James joined in too, and the three of them were often in the same frame. Emily said to Sophia, "If you get married, I'll definitely be your bridesmaid." Just when everyone, including me, thought Sophia was going to become Mrs. Wilson, Sophia suddenly moved back into my house. I looked bewildered. "Did you have a fight with James?" She shook her head. "No. Why would you ask that? Then why did you come back?" She, just like years ago, put her hands on her hips and said, "The lease is up. There's nowhere suitable. Don't welcome me?" I grinned, about to say, "Of course you're welcome." But my expression immediately turned serious. "If you live here, won't Mr. Wilson get angry?" Sophia shoved her luggage toward me. "Why would he be angry? I'm staying at my boyfriend's house." "What does that have to do with him?" My face flushed in an instant. "You're saying I'm your boyfriend?" She gave me a disdainful glance, flopped onto the sofa, her high heels pointing this way and that. "Hurry and pack your things. I'm hungry. We're eating out today. It's my treat." I quickly fetched a pair of slippers and set them by her feet, producing an epic-level exaggerated sigh. After we'd packed, she changed into flat shoes and linked her arm with mine affectionately. I looked up at the sky. She curiously lifted her head too, but saw nothing. "What are you looking at?" "Let me see which side the sun sets on today." She pouted and said, "Who are you insinuating about?" At mealtime, she actually sat next to me. You have to understand, back then she would have preferred to be 10,000 miles away from me while eating. When things are abnormal, there's always something fishy, but as a simp, how could I possibly care? If she's good to me, I'm good to her. If she's not good to me, I'm still good to her. After dinner, when we got home, it's always been me taking care of Sophia, yet she actually took the initiative to fetch my slippers. I pinched myself hard. It wasn't a dream. When she changed into a sexy set of pajamas in front of me, I felt my nose start to bleed. Does it look good? Both hands giving thumbs up. So beautiful. That night, she actually took the initiative to suggest sharing the same bed and pillow with me. I hadn't been drinking, completely sober. I felt like a nervous little rabbit, or better yet, a fish on the chopping block. She made me feel like a stranger, as if I'd been taken over. I thought it was only like that at home, but I didn't expect it to be the same at the office. She came up to me openly in front of everyone, wearing an even happier smile than when she was with James. I immediately became the center of gossip. Everyone was wondering why Sophia was treating me that way. My supervisor even pulled me aside to talk, telling me to watch my behavior. She's Mr. Wilson's girlfriend, so don't let a little spat between them make you a pawn. How am I supposed to explain it to my supervisor? After all, he meant well, and it was Sophia who came to me first. She used to be with Emily a lot, but recently I can clearly feel that the two have slowly returned to an ordinary colleague relationship. Sophia and Emily had a fierce argument that alarmed the entire office and even required security to be called. As Sophia's boyfriend, I had no choice but to go over. But the supervisor grabbed my arm and led me to the stairwell to keep me away from the scene of conflict. He pulled out a cigarette and handed it to me. "Ethan, you better not go. You won't solve anything and might only make the conflict worse." I didn't take the cigarette. I told him I knew how to handle it. By the time I got to the scene, the two of them had already been taken into the general manager's office. From the snippets I overheard from the colleague beside me, I pieced things together and roughly understood what had happened. Emily asked Sophia to reimburse her business travel expenses, plane ticket, hotel accommodation, and meal expenses. Sophia made all kinds of difficulties, saying the company's new policy limits accommodation to $150 and meals to $30, and Emily had exceeded the limits, and by a lot. Emily endured it. And then Sophia said, "The company requires taking trains for short to medium trips and planes for long ones, so it can't be reimbursed." Emily defended herself, saying plane tickets were cheaper than train tickets. Sophia bluntly said 2 words: rules. Emily immediately lost her composure and began to rant continuously. Sophia couldn't argue with her verbally, but she was very capable with her hands and didn't coddle her at all. She went up and slapped her. Emily was knocked out cold, stunned for a long while. Then after taking another slap, the two started beating each other up. James naturally sided with Sophia, not to mention their childhood friend relationship. Just because Sophia works in finance, the matter had to be judged in her favor. Emily naturally disagreed, but she didn't continue making a scene. Whether she planned to swallow this silent loss or had other motives was unclear. After work, Sophia came to find me directly and said she wanted to go home together. The voice was not loud, yet it sounded like a clap of thunder, and my colleagues all turned to look at us in surprise. I instinctively twisted my body a little. "Why don't you leave first? I have some things to take care of and need to work overtime." Sophia actually grabbed an empty chair and sat down right next to me. "Then I'll wait for you." Facing everyone's stares, I really wanted to crawl into a hole in the ground. By rights, as a well-known simp, I should have thick skin, but when I was chasing Sophia, I didn't feel the least bit ashamed. Instead, her casual few words made me feel like needles were at my back, a fishbone stuck in my throat, and as if I were sitting on pins and needles. Maybe the supervisor also sensed something was off. He immediately told me to finish handing over my work and go home early. Just as I reached the company entrance, a sports car pulled up in front of the two of us. The window rolled down, and James looked serious as he said to Sophia, "Can we talk?" I was about to leave first, to give the two of them some privacy. Unexpectedly, Sophia grabbed my hand. "What's there to talk about?" "If I find out you've suffered these years, I'll definitely help you." Sophia's mouth curved up as she leaned her head on my shoulder. "Who said I've suffered these years? Our Ethan treats me especially well." She turned to me as she spoke. "Honey, shall we go home?" I glanced at James with his sullen expression, then looked at Sophia, whose eyes were now only on me. "Okay, let's go home." The engine roared behind us as James stomped the gas in a fit of vengeance and drove off. Although I had many questions, My curiosity wasn't particularly strong, especially regarding my goddess. Whatever she said was gospel, and I believed her without question. That evening, she personally cooked a huge spread for me. Apart from the tomato and egg stir-fry and shredded potatoes she'd made before, I never knew she had such great skills. She looked at me with starry eyes. "Is it good?" I nodded. "It's especially delicious. It's the best meal I've had in my more than 20 years of life. Let me tell you something." Her tone suddenly turned playful, but her gaze was serious. I asked what was wrong. No hint of curiosity or expectation showed on my face. Thunder and rain are both heavenly grace. Whatever she did or said was only what she ought to do for me. She hugged my neck excitedly. "Let's start a business together." Start a business? Such a commonplace phrase. Okay. She clearly hadn't expected me to agree so flatly. "Aren't you going to ask what kind of business? Why start a business at all?" I shook my head. "It doesn't matter. As long as you're willing, I can do anything." She kissed me first, something a simp like me could only dream of. The next day at work, James's secretary called me into the conference room. His gaze was dark and fierce, looking at me as if inspecting a criminal. "You and Sophia are really in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship? You two really live together?" I nodded. "That's right." He motioned for me to sit and talk. I didn't hesitate and sat directly across from him. He clasped his hands together, propping his chin. "I'll make a condition." I was puzzled. "What conditions?" "Leave her. Name your price, as long as I can accept it." I leaned back in the chair to get comfortable. "Can I ask why you want me to leave her?" James raised his eyebrows. "Do you really not see it? Or are you playing dumb?" "I like Sophia. The whole company knows." "I refuse to believe no one has ever told you." I hummed. "I know. So what? You like her, I like her too, but what does that have to do with me?" He tapped the conference table lightly with his knuckles. "Don't you think it's awkward for two people who both like her to be in the same company?" I shrugged. "I don't. Mr. Liu and Mr. Li both like the same female celebrity, and they don't seem awkward about it. They often discuss their fan experiences together." He sounded a bit hysterical. "That's not the same. I'm going to marry Sophia." I jabbed him in the chest. "But she's my girlfriend now." "So you're going to leave?" "Why? Did she refuse to be with you just because I work here? Are you kidding? How many years have I been pining for Sophia? How many people have tried to pursue her, and yet her boyfriend now is me? This isn't becoming the official partner from backup. This is a lickspittle's revenge." He felt like he'd punched cotton, furious beyond words. "You really are a master at playing dumb." "Fine. I'll make it clear. You're fired." I stood up. "All right. Remember to transfer the severance into my account." After saying that, I walked to the conference room door. "Anything else?" "Get lost." I finished packing and came out, encountering Sophia, who had also packed up and was leaving. "Were you fired too?" She brushed my nose. I resigned voluntarily. I thought she was joking, but it turned out she really was starting a business, and she had already chosen the location and the services, and asking me to be the company's legal representative. If things go wrong, I might end up behind bars. Doesn't matter, as long as she's happy. But the projects we run are still very safe. The chance of getting into trouble is small, so I felt a bit relieved. I'm the company's legal representative, chairman of the board, and general manager. Also the general manager's secretary, logistics manager, and head of security. She is the financial director, supervisor, general manager, and the cafeteria's head chef. Every day, the general manager and the chairman play together so happily. Whenever she gives an order, I'll go through fire and water for her. First, she mortgaged the house, then asked her family for the betrothal money, and after that, she took out a loan. She was extremely confident about the project. I also analyzed the possibilities. The risk level was too high, and the chances of losing money were very great, but I still made sure she was happy every day. An uninvited guest arrived at the company. James looked at the shabby office and asked Sophia, "Why are you putting yourself through this?" She replied earnestly, "How could it be cool to do what you love with the person you love?" "James, I've said it before, we have the closeness of childhood sweethearts, but that's not love. It's like a shooting star that you never had time to wish on. Then are we really utterly impossible?" James, one last piece of advice. Be careful of Emily. That's all I have to say. Goodbye. After speaking, he turned to look at me. Chairman, see them out. I hurriedly stopped typing, got up, and ran over. Right. Mr. Wilson, please take care on your way. James glared at me. No need. You two keep playing house here. With that, he swept his sleeve and left. I turned to look at Sophia, who had already started bustling about. All right, they're gone. Sophia waved at me. Darling, come over here. I walked over, thinking she'd found something important, but she actually wanted me to pick a car, and it was a luxury car worth over $1 million US. Pick whichever one you like. Seems I still have to ask my parents at home for permission. Whatever. I'm an only child anyway. If they don't give it to me, who will? Never mind anything else. Just Sophia saying, darling, I feel that's worth $1 million. That's too perfunctory. So what color do you like? I blurted out, pomegranate red. That's Sophia's favorite lipstick shade. Unexpectedly, she immediately stiffened her face. I was asking about the color you like. I replied, the color I like most is the one you like. As long as it's a color you like, it's a color I like. Sophia rolled her eyes at me. Simp. But she immediately laughed. Then choose the white one. It looks more formal and grand. You can drive it yourself or use it for business. I thought she was just joking with me, but to my surprise, I got a call from the 4S dealership to pick up the car just a few days later. Did you dial the wrong number? The person on the other end confirmed with me. Is this Mr. Ethan, chairman of Boda Company? That's right, it's me. The other party continued. The car your company purchased outright has arrived at the dealership. If it's inconvenient for you, another employee from your company can handle the paperwork. I glanced at Sophia, who was still hunched over and busy. No need, I'll go myself. After hanging up, Sophia still didn't look up. Is the car here? You actually bought it. Does our company have that much money in the account? She still kept her head down, busy with something unknown. Of course we do. If there's money, can you pay off the bank loan first? I'm nervous. I walked up behind her, thinking she was dealing with something important, but it turned out she was playing a match 3 game. Nervous about what? This is called reasonably planning the cash flow, optimizing the capital structure. Interest rates are low now. We can use this money to do a lot of things. All right, when it comes to money, she's more savvy than I am. I don't even know how that first pot of gold came about. Somehow, muddle-headedly, the company became worth tens of millions. In one leap, in a few months, it made the money my parents had worked hard for over a decade. Truly, with the wind at your back, even pigs can fly. Sophia rented a new office building, bought a ton of office supplies, and bought a car, but she refused to hire anyone. I asked her what this was for. She shrugged, saying the company doesn't need that many people at this stage. I was curious. If they don't need that many people, why rent such a large office? I didn't expect her to tell me 2 words. Cheap. I counted on my fingers and still couldn't figure out. It used to be a little over $6,000 a month, and now it's over $30,000 a month. How is that any cheaper? She told me that the old place was a little over $3 per square meter per day, and the new place is only 90 cents per square meter per day. How'd I never noticed before? Sophia is actually so good with numbers. One day, Sophia asked me what I like to do. I smiled and said, I like being your boyfriend. Although she'd grown used to sweet talk, she laughed out loud. I meant to ask if there's a project you enjoy doing. This time you'll lead the team yourself and be fully responsible. I'll handle logistics for you. I did have a project I liked, but there's no way 2 people could pull it off. She gave me the title of HR manager so I could recruit my own team. I watched her very formally hand the offer letter into my hands. I felt like holding an imperial edict and almost knelt down to shout, "Long live the emperor." I hugged her excitedly, and she didn't resist. Something that would have been absolutely impossible before. Just as my project was in full swing, James came back, but this time he wasn't there to mock me. He was begging me for help. His company had hit a severe financial crisis. The funding line could break at any moment, and he hoped I could lend some money as bridge funding. Ideally inject some capital to help their company get through the difficulty. I told him that the financial power rested with Sophia. Although I was nominally the chairman, I was nothing more than a miserable employee. And Sophia's reply was 2 words: I won't lend. No matter how James reminisced about the past, she refused to listen, cold-heartedly issuing him an eviction order. Only this time, it wasn't me who sent him out, but the security guards. Later I heard that Emily somehow became his girlfriend, then made a major blunder on a project. She tried to pin it on the company's finance department, but failed, and an investigation was launched. Everything happened just as Sophia had predicted. If we hadn't left that company back then, it would probably have been the 2 of us who got into trouble. I felt my project had been a success, but the market response was lukewarm. To put it bluntly, it lost money. I was very downcast, waiting for Sophia's criticism like a child caught doing something wrong. But not only did she avoid scolding me, she even obtained a wealth talisman for me and hung it around my neck herself, comforting me. Don't worry, this market isn't mature yet. Keep at it, and you'll get unexpected rewards. Sophia not only comforted me with words, she also continued to inject large sums of money into my project. I not only held tightly to the project schedule, but also ran the market every day without sleep to promote the product. She would make me hearty work meals, cook nourishing congee for me, and say, no matter how busy you are, you must eat well. I was deeply moved, especially because she would personally stay by my side. The project was truly a success, and because of it, Boda became an industry unicorn. This was all Sophia's doing. I also took advantage of the celebration banquet to propose to her, and she accepted in front of all the employees. When I slid the ring onto the ring finger she voluntarily held out, she teared up and kissed me. Thunderous applause, cheers, and blessings erupted at the scene. The next day, the 2 of us brought our documents to the Civil Affairs Bureau. Just as the clerk was about to press the seal, a sharp reprimand came from the doorway. Don't stamp it, you mustn't. We both turned around, and to our surprise, it was Sophia's mother, who hadn't appeared in so long, and James. The clerk looked at them and asked, what are you 2 doing here? Sophia's birth mother grabbed Sophia's hand. Who am I? I'm her real mother. The staff sized her up from top to bottom. I can see that, but you can't take her away. Sophia's birth mother angrily pointed at the staff. On what basis can't I take her? She's my daughter. Who are you to tell me otherwise? The staff must be in a bad mood today. A couple is getting married here, and someone is causing trouble. Am I telling you otherwise? Who's getting married? Sophia's birth mother slammed the table. I'm telling you, if I don't want them to get married, they won't get married. Do you believe that? The clerk pressed down the seal. They're a newlywed couple getting married, and you're yelling and shouting here as if you're perfectly justified. I almost thought the stamp in my hand was fake. James looked at the seal on the document. How would you have stamped it? I'm going to complain about you. The clerk pointed at him. Shut up. Keep making a scene, and I'll stamp you two too. I've been here 5 years, and this is the first time someone's told me I can't handle this business. Now we are legally married and protected by law, so when Sophia's birth mother instinctively lifted her hand to hit her, I directly grabbed her wrist. Let go. I'm disciplining my daughter. What business is it of yours? I tightened my grip. She is your daughter, but she's also my wife. If you do that again, I won't be polite. Sophia's birth mother struggled hard to break free from my hand. Someone. Help. Murderer. A staff member pointed at the surveillance camera above. If you keep making such a scene and spouting nonsense, I'll call someone. Sophia's biological mother pointed at me. Let go of me. This matter isn't over. Saying that, she and James turned and walked away. Sophia was already in tears. After I handed the wedding candies I had prepared to the staff member, I hugged Sophia. Thank you so much for today. Thank me for what? It's my duty. The important thing is that you two live well. Congratulations on a long and happy marriage. After I thanked the 3 staff members, I left with Sophia. Sophia's biological mother hadn't gone far. She and James stood by my car with their arms folded, bossing us to come over. Sophia simply turned, hooked her arm through mine, and walked off, then called the company's secretary and gave 2 orders. First, drive the car back. Second, prevent the 2 of them from causing trouble at the company. I knew the 2 of them wouldn't let it go, so I went behind Sophia's back and found her birth mother. I looked at the woman in front of me, in her 50s nearing 60, yet still dressed exquisitely. "Auntie, what exactly do you want?" "Divorce." I got up and poured her a cup of Longjing tea. "Is there no room for any other discussion?" "We don't have to divorce, but I want all her shares, and you still have to give me $200 million as betrothal money." "Why should I?" Sophia appeared suddenly. "I don't know how she found out we were meeting here. Just because I'm your mother, I gave birth to you." Sophia's tone suddenly rose. "You gave birth to me, but did you ever raise me? Did you ever take care of me for a single day? How would you not have raised me? Without me, could you have grown up like this?" "But after my father died," Sophia's birth mother suddenly spoke up and cut her off. "Don't mention that dead man. In any case, you're my daughter, a piece of flesh fallen from me, so you have to obey me." Sophia yanked me out of the chair. "Remember, we are no longer related. Don't expect to get a single cent from me. If you keep pestering me, don't blame me for being ruthless." After speaking, she looked at me. "From now on, you're not allowed to have any contact with her, understand?" I immediately nodded. "Wife, I was wrong. I won't dare do it again." Sophia's biological mother hung a banner outside the company, loudly accusing Sophia and me of not supporting her, calling us a heartless company, and urging people to boycott our company's products. This is where the advantage of a unicorn company shows irreplaceability. With no rival companies fanning the flames, it didn't affect the company's normal operations. I held a meeting with the security department and issued a strict order. If anyone causes trouble within a 5-mile radius of the company and it can't be resolved within half an hour, everyone is to leave. No matter what methods they use, the company has a professional legal team. If something happens, salaries will still be paid and bonuses doubled. Sophia's biological mother, failing once, tried again and hired the locally renowned top mediation team. She attempted to use public opinion to impose moral coercion, but what she didn't expect was that money truly can buy almost anything. I went straight to the top executives at the TV station and demanded Sophia's biological mother be completely blacklisted, offering sponsorship and doubling the annual advertising fee. I don't know which genius gave her the idea, but she even tracked down my parents and kept calling them prospective in-laws this and that. My parents have been in business for so many years. They're shrewd. After finding out what was going on, they calmly bought plane tickets and flew to the city where I live. They left her with 3 nannies, glaring at each other. She tried to boss the nannies around as if she were the prospective mother-in-law, but those nannies were local and famously tough. They refused to humor her. My parents found out the cause of the matter. Actually, there was no need to ask. After spending these past few days together, they already knew the reason for her mother's behavior. Sophia showed me something, a declaration severing mother-daughter ties, notarized at the notary office. This was the freedom she bought by exchanging the only apartment her father left her. She had planned to pull it out at the height of the scandal to silence the gossip, but I unexpectedly shut it down immediately. There's one thing I'm very curious about. Why was Sophia's biological mother so cruel to her own daughter? As the saying goes, even a tiger won't eat its cubs. Could she be even more vicious than a tiger? Sophia told me that her mother had already found a new partner before her father died. That new partner didn't live for many years either. And after he died, she took Sophia's father's money and the previous partner's money and found another man. This one didn't die, but loved gambling until his hair went white, had terrible luck and even worse character, yet treated Sophia's mother extremely well, so much so that she drove her own elderly father out to the suburbs. But later his elderly father secretly sold the house and disappeared. The two were evicted by the buyer. With nowhere to go, the pair set their sights on this house. They would stop at nothing for the house. After all, Sophia was a girl and could only be forced to give in, but to avoid future harassment, she insisted on severing ties. Sophia's biological mother cooperated in every way to get the house as quickly as possible. So, with nowhere else to go, she ended up living in my house. My parents, feeling sorry for her, held Sophia in their arms and promised that from then on she would be the old couple's own daughter. The more I listened, the more wrong it sounded, and I hurriedly interrupted, "That won't do. We already have our marriage certificate." The story was drawing to a close. James's company ended in bankruptcy liquidation, and Emily, unsurprisingly, was probably pounding away at a sewing machine. As childhood friends, I should have helped, but Sophia told me she hadn't added insult to injury and had already been very considerate of Emily's prior emotions. Sophia's biological mother, that troublesome old woman, was driven into a stroke by the 3 maids at my parents' house. At first we didn't want to get involved, but out of humanitarian concern, we still arranged for her to be placed in a nursing home. With the spring festival approaching, my family began preparing early for the New Year's Eve dinner. In the kitchen, aromas filled the air. One nanny skillfully seasoned the dumpling filling while the other 2 helped wrap the dumplings. Laughter and cheerful voices echoing through the house. The 2 of us, long working away from home, finally rushed back and even brought New Year gifts for everyone. My younger daughter cheered and leapt into my father's arms. The whole family sat together, sharing bits and pieces from the past year. After the meal, the 2 elders took the children out to play, and once the nannies cleaned the table, they each went back to their own homes. I stood by the window, touching Sophia's slightly rounded belly. "Honey, can I ask you something?" She turned to look at me. "What is it?" With a serious expression, I asked the question that had been buried in my heart for more than 10 years. "Why did you choose me to be your husband back then?" She turned her head and looked out at the myriad lights of the city. "Do you believe in fate and reincarnation?" I nodded. "I believe you. I'll believe anything you say. That's why I chose you."